I'm gonna bring him right up, man, for sure, man. We won't even waste another moment, man. Julian Rodriguez in the building, man. Clap it up, man. Clap it up.
What's up, guys? What's going on?
Super excited to have you, man. Everything is good, man. Super excited to have you on here. I'm gonna be real with you, Julian. It's actually better to have you after the fight than before the fight. It's a way better look. I think. Listen, man, you showed out. What an opponent you had in front of you. I mean, I would ask you if you anticipated. Is that what you expected, or did he kind of like? Was you like, damn, this dude is like up in here he really trying to? All right, well,
No,
let's
yeah.
do what we came to do.
We pretty much knew what we were going to be facing that night. You know, we watched a fair bit of tape, and we knew that he only kind of had one gear to him, one type of game plan. One type of game plan. So it was just about taking that away from him, taking that away his momentum. Yeah, that's it. There's a lot of ways to do that, you know.
Nah, man, you did it, man, and it was clean. You know, coming off the back end of that Sabril Matias and Dalton Smith conversation, here comes another pressure fighter dealing with a slick but a puncher, right? Because that's the difference, right? With a lot of other fighters is that you got your hands got heat on them, you got sauce on them, right? So you're able to make the difference. But you were able to really punch him clean. A lot of good counter punching going on. He was pressing. I was kind of nervous that the judges might not get it right. I'm not going to lie to you. I clearly had you winning the fight, but I know how that body language, how it can look in the ring with some judges like that. You're on the back foot. Oh, he's getting bullied. And clearly you weren't being bullied. Were you taking that into consideration when the judges were scoring? Were you like, I hope these guys know boxing?
No, I mean, I just stuck to my plan, or what I saw was the best option in that moment. He wasn't landing anything really clean. There were times that like I stood too long on the ropes, but that was because he didn't hit as hard as I thought he would hit. So like I actually kind of stood in there a little bit, you know, too long, longer than my team wanted me to, but it was because he didn't really hit that hard. So I was able to see and gauge while I was inside and try to look for that perfect counter. But I didn't want to get caught too long in there, because then it could make make it look bad, and can make it look like he's getting to me, or he can accumulate points and win the round just based off activity. I saw everything coming. He wasn't that quick. He was throwing the same consistent combination, so I knew it was like body shot, head, or coming in with the straight shots. He's gonna throw the looping right. So I was just looking for the basic tells, and you know, but there's so many things I could have improved on. I was banking on him, like me breaking him down little by little, as opposed to, if I would have pressed the action a little more or threw more combinations as opposed to just pop shotting him, I would have been able to break him down based off of my own actions, and not just because he's missing, or because, I'll let him punch do a combination, then I'll hold him for a little bit, walk him to the middle of the ring, and then land two pop shots so that I win the round, and it creates a big buzz in the crowd. I was sort of playing that game, sort of like just trying to learn new things in there, bro. Like, it's so weird. Like I'm having fun. I had a lot of fun in that fight, but moving forward, based off what I learned, and from that fight, I want to be able to improve, and realistically at 100%, that guy, I don't think would have went 6 rounds, but that's me, in my ideal version, ideal state, throwing combinations and, pushing more of the pressure. That's not really my style, to be on the back foot the entire fight. It's more so until I find a crack in the armor, or I get you with a shot clean enough where I see, oh, he's hurt, then I'll start to jump on you. But, learning lessons, and it was definitely a good fighter to, have a good showcase for Zuffa, and for the first fight there. And it's good. I need those tough rounds. I need to feel that pressure so that I can be a better fighter.
Hey, Julian, first off, Angelo here.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Julian, on the bonus, right? I know that you're probably never accustomed to this. Having been a coach and being a part of the UFC in the past, I'm used to that format. So I knew that you were going to get that. But when you got two of them. You got a fight of the night, and you got the best boxer of the night. Is that something to you where you weren't even thinking about it? So when you received it, you were like, Oh wow! Well, this is a nice
Yeah.
surprise. And also, just follow that up with. And what did you end up with? You know, what do you do with that? Like, it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's free money, but it is a whole lot of money that just came your way. And a smart person like you, I'm sure, made.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just it definitely was a surprise. I'm in a moment of my career where I'm really, and it sounds funny, but like I'm not really prioritizing the money right now. Like I really just want to be the best version of myself, the best fighter, because I don't think I've ever in my whole entire career given like 100% towards boxing. Not to say that
Mm.
I was not focused, but it was more so like spreading myself thin or playing daddy during training camp and stuff like that. And those are not, some of these things are positive things, but a positive distraction is still a distraction. So I'm in a point in my life and my career now where I'm just dedicating 100% of my life towards boxing. And I'm so happy with the results so far in terms of my mindset, in terms of obviously like my career and my potential, like where I see this year going. I've been so I feel so motivated. I'm back in the gym already. I'm in the gym right now. I just finished my workout. I was in the gym on that Monday morning. Uh,
Wow.
After the fight. And it was a tough, rugged fight, you know what I mean? But I felt good. I didn't have any injuries coming out of the fight. I wasn't overly sore. So right to the gym, no problem. I listen
Yeah.
to my body. So if my body's telling me we're good to go, then we're good to go. I'm gonna utilize that as much as possible. And as far as the money management and stuff, I have a team, that handles a lot of that stuff for me, and we game plan together. Um, there's nothing really that we major moves that we're making at this time because we're looking to get right back in there. So I don't need
That's awesome.
anything. I don't need anything holding up any type of my time or my focus. I think about business right now. I'm just trying to save or take care of the things I got to take care of first, and then it's right back to camp.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Can you speak on, because you said how you're right back into the gym and we feel this excitement from you even prior to the fight. But you've talked up a lot about how the facility really helps and how, the way, I don't want to call it the UFC format because it's Zuffa now, but the way the Zuffa format gives you the nutrition and the coaches and all of the different health factors to it. Can you kind of talk us through that? Even like after the fight, I saw a picture of you and Sandoval on a gurney together, right? Which is
Oh
pretty
yeah.
awesome. That's very UFC like to me, right? I'm used to that. But kind of talk to the experience of after the fight, going through it, how Zuffa treated you the whole way, all the way till you went home.
Yeah, honestly, like I got there about 2.5 weeks before the fight to taper off my camp there, and within 2 3 days, I was pretty sure that I was gonna end up moving to Vegas because just based off the facility alone, the facility is crazy, and apparently that's a thing. Like fighters get there and they see it and they move, because it would be so just stupid to not utilize that and take advantage of the resources that are provided there for the signed fighters. Um, if you miss weight, if you are in your best shape and you've been training there, that's like totally on you because there's everything there. Like you were mentioning before, free meal preps. Uh, there's a there's people there that are working a desk where they give you protein shakes after your workout or whatever type of drinks you want. They give you free thorn supplements, whatever you need. They do body assessments on you to check your levels to see what you're deficient in. They have multiple strength and conditioning coaches for you, multiple different types of training rooms with different elevation levels. Um, they have recovery. That's just the working out aspect. The recovery aspect. You have cold plunges. You have cryotherapy. You have red light therapy. You have these pools that have trampolines in them. So if you're coming back from an ankle injury or you have a knee injury or something where it limits your capabilities as far as running or impact on the knees or ankles, you run and you do all that stuff in that pool. With the I think Connor used it when he was on the comeback from when he was coming back from when he hurt his ankle against Poirier.
Against
Um,
Poirier,
Physical therapy. Anytime you need something done, you book a time slot. and they're there to help you, whatever you need. I have some problem with my back, you go, boom, leg, knee, whatever you need, they got it. They have a mental health room where you lay in a pod that vibrates at a certain frequency and plays certain type of music with certain lights around. It's just all around the board. Like, it's whatever you think you need for yourself, they have it. So,
It seemed like they're giving you things you weren't even aware you needed all the way, but you're like, oh, this is useful. I never thought of
yeah,
this. You know what
yeah,
I
and it's
mean?
it's a problem really getting all those things aligned or being able to utilize all those things uh, when I'm back home, when I got to go here, I got to travel 40 minutes for this to do this. Okay, now I got to go over here to get this massage. Oh, crap, I got to pick up my kids, though. Oh, I have to pick up my meal preps now in this town. Like, it's just a problem. You know what I mean? It's just, after seeing what they have to offer, I don't need to deal with that anymore. I could just go under one roof and I deal with the amazing staff over there. Forrest Griffin is like the head of staff, and it's cool to see him and pick his brain about his career and fighting
Right.
in general. Also, the atmosphere, the people that are there, it's all big names in there. So you don't have a like you're at a college campus and everyone is here on the same path. No one gives you a feeling that they're bigger than you or lesser than you. They treat you the same. And there's big names in there as far as UFC and fighters are coming in now, but it's just the atmosphere. You don't The strip is right down the block, but me being there, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. You
Right.
have
Right.
like-minded fighters there. I'm eating healthy food and I'm seeing the results, which makes me want to eat it, and stick to it because like
Right.
I'm eating it and I look around and so are all these world champions eating it. So I know I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
And
Right.
That's awesome. Like Julian, I mean, because I'm gonna dial it back a little bit, even going back to the Kane Sandoval fight just a little bit. Just the way you seem to have walked away from that fight with so much experience, it seemed like it's priceless almost. Like you can't put a price on the experience you had of those 12 rounds. You're improving in so many ways now based off that fight. Like, you know what, I need to close up some holes in my game. And you talk about how you didn't dedicate to the sport 100%, not just for bad reasons. Some people might want to say bad reasons, but you included the good reasons. You said, but is that because you had to be a little bit more diversified just to sustain as far as financially and as far as being a businessman and being responsible for yourself? Does the consistent activity that Zuffa is providing you kind of give you some peace of mind and make you a little bit more content with focusing 100% towards your career now, to whereas maybe before you had to kind of be a multitask type of individual to handle your career as well as your personal life that you had to make sure was going the right way. Does that make sense?
yeah, definitely. Just being under a promotional company itself, like when I was, and it depends on who you have negotiating your contracts for you. I have a very strong management team. My lead manager is Dmitry Popov. He handles all the contractual work, along with Jamal, who's an attorney that we use, Mero. And yeah, they're very strong in terms of what they negotiate for me. But in the past, you negotiate maybe 3, 4 fights a year, and sometimes the company holds you to that, no matter if you knock the guy out or if you feel okay or not. And especially as you get bigger purses and you're at a bigger place in your career, now they got to shell out these bigger payments. So typically, companies want to keep you just fed enough so that you don't have too much power or you don't get ahead of yourself with certain things, but it's very strategic sometimes. Whereas I don't feel that that's the case with Zuffa. Like, we're right back in the gym. I think Dimitri's negotiating another fight for me even sooner than what we thought, because I feel so good and I want to just get right back in there. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as uh, yeah, I've been on both sides, man. There were times where I didn't have a promoter and I was kind of winging it because I was 20 something and one. So I feel like, all right, cool. Like, I have a big enough name to kind of get on whatever card I want. But there is no place like having a home in boxing as far as a promoter, because I'm fortunate enough that the company wants to build me and work with me as opposed to just like throw me into these fights that are just with no plan. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
good
no
that they want
purpose.
to build and they want to help the brand as far as me. Whereas again, other companies will try to plug you in and be like, yeah, yeah, all right, cool, with no promotion and no type of like, what happens after this? Okay, what does this lead to? So that's always good. Um, yeah, I think that I'm in a great place right now. I feel very secure with them and their guidance and how well they've been just dealing with me so far. I think it's been great.
Hey, Julian, that's awesome that you said that, because when in our show here at ATP Combat Media, me and Clay, we're always talking about how it's important for, especially in the USA, in the United States, for the casual sports fan base to get to know people like a Julian Rodriguez. And here you are, you make your debut on Paramount Plus. That weekend, that Paramount Plus went to over 7 million households, right? Which is insane. Okay,
I didn't even know that number.
and then they have 112 million subscribers just for the WWE YouTube alone. And as you know, your highlights are flashing all over the
They're
place
going crazy
right
bro.
now. They're going crazy. You're flamboyant. You talk a lot. So when we speak about you on the show, which by the way, again, we predicted that you would totally beat Sandoval. And I'll tell you, it's honestly, it's because you have the experience. You understood what your ups and downs were, and it's no knock on Sandoval, and it's great that he has a legendary trainer and Coach Freddie Roach, but he's young, man.
Yeah.
You're a youngster coming up, and I even felt that from you when you were talking about it in the press conference. You were like, bro, I don't need to.
Exactly. I remember that moment when you kind of look at him like, man, this guy's got you a little spunky guy, bro. You a little spunky guy. You got a lot of you just saw that look on your face where you like, you just ain't been on this stage before. It's gonna be interesting to see this play out.
I felt a lot of nervous energy on that stage. So I said, okay, I see you, bro. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to pump yourself up. This is your first time on this level like this. You're, he was talking a little quicker than normal, usual. So I'm like, you're trying too hard, brother. There's a reason for that. And I've been on this earth a lot longer than you, and I know what that reason is.
Played out. That experience, you're like, I've seen this before. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah. We'll see what happens Saturday, man. Mozzie, I said Mozzie. Shout out to Mozzie, by the way. Miss Van Houter in the building. You know Mozzie Van Houter. His mom is in the building. I just looked at her and I called you his name. Shout out to Mozzie, though. He did a great job yesterday. Hopefully we can get him up here as well. But you gotta let us know, man. Tap into this relationship with Dana White as far as the business is concerned. How are you? I looked at an old interview you did. Shout out to Frankie Edgar, man, UFC legend. I seen you on his podcast about a year ago, and you spoke about how when you grew up, and you talked about the process of getting into boxing, that you actually started off as a WWE fan, as a young kid. That was your thing, right? And how hilarious it is that it comes full circle that, you know what I mean, the owner of the WWE, that talk about destiny, whatever you have, the universe never makes a mistake, right? Everything happens right on time. But that being said, how is it now working with this huge positive relationship? Is it personal? Because it seems like such a big thing going on with the Paramount deal. Have you had an opportunity to communicate with Dana? Have you had an opportunity to kind of meet up with these people, and how's that experience been?
Well, I mean, we spoke briefly after the fight. And I was with my son. Apparently he took a picture with my son earlier. And then after the fight, when I brought my son to meet him, he was like, oh, this is your son? I was taking pictures with him before, So we all, we were talking. And that's when he was telling me, listen, this is a mandatory thing, but I care about my fighters. There hasn't been one death under the UFC banner. And I'm proud of that. And I take pride in that. I care about my fighters. So, listen, that was a hell of a performance tonight. You did great. But I do need you to get checked out. So he sent me, and I guess all the fighters, to the hospital to get a, CAT scan. Yeah, so he did that. As far as, and then I asked him, my little guy and I are big UFC fans. And he's like, no problem. We got you tickets for tomorrow. So typically, and it was a big card. It was a good card. We wanted to support Sean O'Malley, Umar Nurmagomedov. We were training with Umar and the camp for my fight. Like, we were in the same facility, so I wanted to see his fight. And I respect his mindset. Those Russians over there, they don't play around, man. So, yeah, I'm here thinking that, we're gonna. Every time I've ever been given boxing tickets from a company, it's been, they give you good seats and stuff, but it's not no first, second row.
Right.
Right.
But this show, man, me and my son Jaden walked in there like we were with Dana White himself, brother. It was
That
crazy. Right in the
that's
second
Yeah.
row,
awesome.
I'm sitting right behind Islam Makachev
Yep.
and Habib. I'm sitting right
Yep.
next to these guys, next to Amanda Nunes. I'm like, yo, what is going on here? There's
That's
Right.
cameras all
amazing.
over the place. My son, my goodness, he's the coolest kid around, man.
No,
His
no,
life.
hey, Julian, that's so awesome that you're saying that because I remember I took my son front row for UFC 200 or 300. I'm sorry when it came out, and I almost wonder, like when you took your son, this is going to be a father-son question. When he was with you in the UFC event, did he realize that he was literally sitting right next to the current pound for pound best fighter in the world, the former pound for pound best fighter in the world, and possibly an Amanda Nunes, certainly the greatest female fighter of all time for the UFC, but might actually be maybe even one of the greatest top 5 of all time, male or female? Or is your son just like, hey, Dad, I don't know, or what was that like? What was that like?
No, he definitely realized, but it was because he saw his dad fangirling in private, and I never do that. I never do that.
Compose
But
yourself, Julian.
we
Compose
we
yourself.
we went upstairs to the bathroom, and I was like, oh, Jaden, I don't really do this, but that was Khabib. I was watching him all camp. We got to go to Dagestan. Come on, 2-3 years, we got to do this. You know. So then,
Awkward.
then, yeah, then he was like, "Oh, what's going on?" Nah, but honestly, he was getting it, man, because he was around for the end of the camp, staying with me in the camp house and stuff. And I watch a lot of film on these guys, and I watch their stories, and I watch where they come from, their values, and I study their morals and things like that. And I try to implement those type of things that I resonate with, at least, into my lifestyle. And, and so he's around for a lot of that, and I make sure he is, because
That's awesome.
these days, these kids, they learn a lot from that iPad, and it's a little scary sometimes. So I make sure, and also I make sure that when I'm going through this major life change with whatever I'm doing in my life, that he's a part of it, to see it. I want him to remember these things and remember the things that I had to go through for, God willing, the rewards that I'm going to pass on to him, or a safe, secure lifestyle.
Mhm.
So I want him to be a part of that. I want him to see the struggle, see the hard times, see the weight cuts, see the times where, you know, he's with me riding to the press conference, and then he goes and sees on a big screen me and this guy face to face, and then right away I'm back in the car with him on the way home, like, and he's seeing what I'm thinking, what I'm going through, the shit I'm talking about, how, like, there's just the energy you need to have for this. And I think
Yeah.
I think it's very impactful for him.
So,
And there are things that he doesn't understand now, or he doesn't perceive it as like cool yet. But it's in there. I'm planting the seeds, and I'm allowing. I just want him to see it and be there to witness it, because I know that when he's raising his children, it'll be a lot of good lessons in the things that he's experienced. So that's all I really care about. That's literally all I care about in, like, my life. I don't give a
That-
shit about anything else. I just
right.
want to have, like, kids that have kids, and I want to, like, keep that going and, like, build my name. You know what I mean? My family name, and leave things on to my children. And however way, it doesn't even have to be this boxing stuff.
right.
Right.
So, like, that's why I say I really only care about, like, my bloodline and procreating and making sure I have kids that actually do stuff in this world that we're in.
That's
Monty,
amazing.
I mean, well, not Monty. Julian, let me ask you. I keep saying that because I'm looking in the chat and people
Stop
are
looking at
screaming
the
about Monty.
chat, Clay.
Yeah, I
Stop
can't
looking
help
at
it,
the
man.
chat.
I can't help it, man. Listen, man, you're a person who has a lot of swag. I mean, I'm hearing rumors like you sing or something. Like you have some sort of like a career, like music career that you kind of do as well,
Yeah,
or
I'm produce music. I've been doing music since I'm 12 years old. I sing, I do rapping stuff, whatever. That's why I say I
Mhm.
produce, because I also make beats, but my strongest suit is songwriting. So as a
Right,
songwriter, I can
Oh,
adapt to. I can make a country song. I could do R&B. I can
right,
do whatever. But that was, one of the things that I
The
used to
distraction.
spread. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
and
was
like I
gonna.
love it, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, but
That's awesome. No, that's
and it's
awesome.
definitely something that could be marketed or whatever. But I really, that was one of the things that I could just think of off the top that takes away my time. You know.
Yeah, but so Julian, right? And the reason I asked it, and I'm glad you picked up on that. And that's why I was like, okay, boom, he's kind of right on the same page as me. But in this Zuffa production, that mic is there still, right? And there's still this part of the game that you bring. There's an intangible that you bring, which is that you are very good on the mic. And when I think about the Conor McGregors, and I think about, I don't want to go into The Rock, but I will say that just because you're a WWE fan, do you think that's going to be something that you can that's going to translate well for you under this promotional company? Are you going to be able to build that kind of personality? You know what I'm saying? To get that relationship with the fans and build that fan base up to get used to you being this outspoken person.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't think it stems from the music aspect. This right now, like the things you hear me say or whatever, that's not even like strategy. It's I just say what I feel. I'm a very passionate person. That's where it stems from passion. I'm a very
Yes, sir.
passionate person. So when I do music, I do it well because I get it from the passion side. When I write lyrics, I'm passionate about what I'm writing about. So then it translates and it sounds like something you went through last week. You know what I mean? Like I can relate to people. So that's where I have the hook. Now, as far as me like shit talking on a stage or trying to build a fight or whatever, I just say what I feel, and I let things roll that way. If so, the whole thing with the Avius thing, I said what I felt on that stage, and I knew what I felt. You could see it in my face. That's why it
Right.
was real. That's why you could feel it. That's why you don't look at it like a gimmick. There's a lot of clowns out there that will think that they just got to be loud and that's the secret, or that they just have to wear some cool stuff and then be like super arrogant. Like that's not gonna work for you, my man. Like you gotta be real. You have to connect with the people. You gotta your presence has to be felt.
Right.
And so I literally just do what I feel. You know what I mean? That's why I wasn't so like aggressive or arrogant or with the guy Kane, because I knew he was trying so hard. So I was like, ooh, I see you now. And it
Read the
became
room.
more of like silent intimidation at that point. Like in the weigh-ins in private, I'm looking, he knew what he was getting into at that point, That notice
Right.
that press conference was the last time he was really vocal about something. Every
Yep.
every other time he's seen me, it was more about like I could just tell. I could just tell when I see somebody in their eyes what type of
Right.
energy they're bringing or what they're feeling, because I'm a fighter too. I know. And I feel all the things. I'm not egotistical enough to say like that I'm hiding an emotion or, oh, I'll never say this on the mic or I'll never tell them I was feeling this. I say all of it. And there's nothing for me to hide because it don't matter. It don't matter what I say. I'm going in there and I'm gonna hit you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give it my all. This is my kids are riding on this. It don't matter what you think you have on me or you want to talk shit about something you thought you heard, or you're trying to tell me I'm not gangster, or you're trying to tell me I'm not tough or what. That shit don't matter because I know
Right.
I'm good enough to hurt you and I'm gonna hurt you
Right.
in the ring.
This
And I'm
boxing
that's
match is going to play out because I'm a great fighter, and that's
right,
Right.
right, right.
nothing you say is going to erase that reality. It's not going to change
Yeah.
that into something else. I got one last question. By the way, shout out to
Yes,
everybody in the
sir.
building. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We got Julian Rodriguez, Mr. Hammerhands himself in the building, man.
I also got a good funny story for you guys
uh,
before I leave.
Oh, we want to
okay.
hear
And
it.
it's a
No, we
Wait,
want
very
to hear it.
wholesome story. It's a
Yeah.
very wholesome story, but I'll let.
I
Yeah,
got
let
one
me
more question too, so
wait,
I'll
Okay.
let Clay go first. Yeah.
real quick here. The people in the space are talking about they love the product, they love what they're seeing, but they're questioning the uniform. They're saying that as a fighter, it kind of stifles or it kind of smothers your ability to create, right? Like a lot of fighters put a lot into their outfits, right? Into their shorts, into their gloves, I don't know, intro music, all these different little intangibles that make that's part of the entertainment. How do you feel about that? Are you concerned about that? Is there freedoms that we're not aware of? Is it a strict uniform? Like what kind of
Yeah, yeah.
freedom you have?
So that there are limitations as far as the the clothing aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're trying to like follow the UFC format with that, where it's
Mm-hmm.
their specific sponsors, and they sponsor all fighters. I guess once you're signed with them, so you got to rep the company. Or also they don't want the fighters to get sponsors that kind of are the competitors of their sponsors, like
Mm-hmm.
my promotional company. So if my promotional company is Monster Energy, but I'm promoting another energy drink brand, it kind of clashes. You know what I mean? So on the business
Right.
sense, I understand it. From a fighter's point of view, I do not care at all about it, because it's easier for me. I get to save some money, and not spending thousands on a new fight outfit, with a bunch of sparkles and shit everywhere. I don't care about that. Also, uh, okay, if it limits your creativity or your ability to market yourself, find another way. Maybe go harder in the fight, go harder on the microphone afterwards, be someone that, that exceeds that, I guess, But I do hear the people.
Mm.
You know, it is what it is. I just, as a fighter, I don't really care to think about it. It's not really, I don't really, it's not something that I would even tell Dimitri, my manager, to like, hey, see if
Right.
we can do something about, like, I don't really care. As long as I'm protected as far as wearing the type of gauze I need to wear, things like that. Uh, Whatever else. I mean, I'm allowed to wear my whole mouthpiece. You know what I mean? Cool.
Right.
That's it. That's all I
Right,
need.
right,
Right.
I
right,
hear
right, right.
something brewing about the gloves, but we'll get
Mm,
there when we get there.
I was literally about to ask
I,
about the
okay.
gloves. I was going to ask
yeah,
about the gloves
I
as
do
well,
see
but
people wearing the Zuffa gloves, but here's the thing, with the backing behind and the funding behind this company, I'm sure that if we were forced to wear Zuffa gloves moving forward, that they would be made and created by a reputable person that
yeah,
you
Right,
know
whether it's Reyes,
that
whether it's
you
Grant,
can
like
right.
or
trust. You
Venom,
can
right?
trust, yeah. And I feel like there would be a selection to choose from that fits your hand specifically. They're not just gonna, you know,
Cookie cutter it.
there's a
Right.
right. There's a lot of people that have hand problems in this game. I am not one of them, but I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to keep it that way. And especially with these fights I'm most likely gonna have, where I'm gonna have to let these hands go and
Mm.
throw. I gotta protect myself.
Hey, Julian. So my question is, all the packages they're running with you now, and you're being seen on a massive audience stage, right? So they're giving you the opportunity to have this stage to show the star that you've always been, and you felt you've always been. Now you're also in a league, as we know, like in the UFC, where there are no choices for opponents. You fight who you fight. So this is more of a question for you and maybe your entire team. When they send you the names, are they sending you like four names and you're the type of person who's just like, I don't care what name it is, bro, just give me the date? Or are you guys like really pre-planning each stage of how you want to get to that Zuffa boxing championship? Because you've already said you want to be the first.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm at this point I'm pretty high on the rankings. If I'm not mistaken, I'm number one. Um, but yeah, we're trying to get to the title. So, and we're at a place now where, like, all right, we need things to make sense. Again, not so much about the money, because like I'm happy with the money where it's at. Um, but more so like we need some clear direction, and we need to know what this fight is going to get us. Is this going to get us the Zuffa World title? Is this going to get us on a show in Riyadh? Is this going to, that's where, I'm trying to excel. I want to progress, move forward in my career. So like, if I focus on that, I know the money will come. That's why I'm not worried about it. But yeah, there's far more important things for me to work on other than like filling my bank account. So like, getting my mindset even on a stronger level, working more on aspects of my game that right away after the fight, I had a talk with everybody, and they had talks with me, and it was just a great conversation about things to improve for the next time around, things I've learned, things I could have did way better, um, things like that. And I'm so interested in like working on those things more so than like the money aspect of like that night or whatever. So like that's how I know I'm in a healthy mindset. I'm in a healthy space. I have a great team behind me, great family members around me that are keeping me grounded and making sure that my eye is on the real prize, and that's actually progressing, not only as a fighter but as a man, as a father, and that's like it's pretty much what I'm on right now.
Well,
No doubt, no doubt.
Julian, you are certainly a star, man, and I'm so glad so many households, millions, are getting a chance to see you now. Tell us the story you want to tell us.
Yeah, I want to know about this story,
Yeah.
man, for sure.
Okay, so
Mike, you do your thing, man.
So like I said, this is after the fight. I'm with my team, and we're waiting. I'm antsy. I don't feel any pain. So I'm like, man, I want to go see my family. I want to go out to eat with them. But this is mandatory rules. This is what Dana said, and if Dana's writing his name on my checks, I got to listen to the boss. So, we got to get the CAT scan, make sure everything is right, and everything's going smooth. Now we did everything, and now I was told that I was going to be in and out. So like, they were, within 30 to 45 minutes. So once I'm done with all my tests, now they're trying to get in touch with a doctor to sign off on my results so that I can finally leave. But he's not answering the text message. So they roll me into a room, right? And they roll me into a room, and then they put a sheet covering my half of my side of the room. And my whole family's there, whatever, we're talking. And all of a sudden, I'm like getting text messages from people, because by that time, Dana had said on the podium that I had gotten the bonus. So when I'm sitting there and I'm getting this text, my Uncle Donnie texted me. And he goes, oh, congratulations on performance of the night. It's actually my mother's Uncle Donnie. I call him my Uncle Donnie all the time, but he's like, congratulations. You got the you got the performance bonus. I knew you had it in you or whatever. So I'm like, huh. I was like, yo, I think we got the performance bonus. Yes. And when I said that, I'm looking at my manager, but I hear, oh shit, did we? And it was Kane right next to me in the room on the other side of the sheet. So I was like, whoa. And he was like, did we get the bonus? And I realized there was Kane in there, and I was like, oh shit. This is like a Toro Gotti Mickey Ward story,
Yeah.
Yeah. And right away I thought of the Gotti Ward analogy, that whole reference.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, we got to take a picture, bro. Our grandkids are gonna have this on the fucking wall of our houses when they're older, bro. Come on, this is for our family. And what a great guy, and much respect to him. And his manager was a very great guy too, Oscar. Very professional, and and with that mindset, that kid could do anything, bro. He's 23 years old. He has a whole future in front of him, a good team around him, a lot of purpose in life to go the right way. I do think he'll be much of a better force at 135. Honestly, humbly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, nonetheless, man, he said a lot of kind things to me, to my son. My son was there in the hospital with me, so it was a really cool, wholesome moment between two fighters in front of my son. For him to see and to know how how it's not what it may be out to be on that social media stuff or throughout the press conference and things like that. He's able to see us go to war with each other. We're all busted up. And, then we talk in private, and the things that we're talking about, about love and family and children and good luck, brother. I hope you succeed in this life, like things like that. That's where the lessons are made for kids, So it was really good for me to do that for my son, to have him there, him to see firsthand. It's like a movie scene, like this is
right.
You can't make this up, right? Like you had to take advantage of the moment because it's so organic. Do you guys, Mick and Arturo had that relationship, what I'm saying, going forward? Like, I mean, when you guys go through when guys go through what Mick and Arturo went through, just like what you and Sandum, that kind of changes the dynamic of the relationship, right? The respect that
Of
you have
course.
for
Yeah.
each other, right? You guys
I
keep in
I
contact at this
even
point, or
I even have this way of viewing people or boxers in general since I'm way younger too, because I always thought of like, yeah, well, when we retire, like we don't gotta like hate each other. Like I think by that time we would, again, these are the same people we're seeing multiple times in the year. Like I'm talking about growing up and going to national tournaments. Sometimes we're on the same team. We gotta stay in the same hotel room. It's things like that multiple times a year. Like we all have to take a break of our personal lives at school and then go to this remote location like Kansas City, you know, where there's nothing to do and we're all stuck in the same hotel room for like a week. You know,
Mhm.
there's a lot of relationships there, where you're running around with a bunch of kids, you're meeting kids from Cali, you're meeting kids from Washington D.C. You're also understanding different ways of living. Uh, they act differently than New York people, and or maybe it's just learning their slang. It could be something so minuscule like that, where it's just learning the way they talk or how they whatever. Or Southern fighters, they have a different hospitality to them. The women are
Right.
different. It's just learning about life through different experiences and people. And
Okay.
I take so much from that. So like those people that I've seen tons of big names over the years, over and over. Javante Davis multiple times, Joette Gonzalez, you had Manny Robles, you had a lot of people from the Headbangers team. So you had like Lamont Peterson, the Peterson brothers, um, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, all the Gary Russells. Like the list goes on and on, of how many people I've seen, growing up. And it's like, yo, I was here to witness your story too. You were here. That's part of my story. I learned so much just through my experience, and you were involved in that at these
Right.
tournaments. I see you working. I see how you reacted to losses. I see how, like, for example, Gervonta Davis, he was an emotional guy. At that age, no one likes to lose, but he never liked to lose. So if
Right.
someone was getting to him in the ring or putting pressure on him, he would kind of like give up mentally, maybe start doing something illegal, or maybe
Right.
he'll like start falling on the floor and causing breaks in the fight, or being rude to the referee and shoving the referee. And he would lose, or maybe he got disqualified one year, I forget, but he lost. And because he didn't show, a professional way to carry himself or good character, Calvin made him go up on the ring, fights later, like I would say about an hour later, and request the microphone to apologize to the crowd.
Mm.
And he apologized to the staff, and he was very respectful. And I just remember that like it was yesterday. And there's so many lessons to pull from that. Also to
Wow.
see the dynamic and to see how much of an influence that Calvin had on a street dude like Gervonta.
Right.
And to know that the chemistry between them is so tight, and that's why they have that bond. It's just a good story for boxing. It's a good story for me. It's like I read a book that no one else has read. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's my story.
Nobody has
So
access to yet because you ain't
Right.
yeah,
dropped the
so
book
like
yet. But yeah.
I respect these lessons. So like when I already see other fighters I grew up with, like Kenneth Sims and stuff. I fought him twice, and other people might be like, oh, well, he beat you twice, or he's this, he's that. We got to get that back. Cool, yeah, no problem.
Right.
This is real life for me.
Right.
This is real life,
Right.
and like,
Yes,
yo,
sir.
Kenneth,
Yes, sir.
Kenneth, thank you for those amazing moments, bro. It ain't about wins and losses when we're 50 years old and we got kids, bro. Especially amateur boxing. Who gives a fuck about that? It's
Right.
about the lessons. It's about that I was able to have a dance partner like you, bro. Thank you for those memories, and my kids will always remember you too, because you were a big part of my life.
Right.
So that's the
Awesome.
type of stuff that's important for me. You know what I mean? So
Well,
that's where
Julian,
I'm at.
you certainly graced us with so much of your time and given us
Yeah, I know
your
Dimitri's
story
like,
with your
play more.
story.
I told you 30 minutes.
Well,
I
I don't
know,
think
I know.
we're
It's all
gonna
right.
get in
Shake your
trouble.
hand.
I
I'm
don't think
running
we'll
late
get in
right now, but
trouble.
it was a good
Hey,
conversation, man. It's all good. I
hey,
appreciate
no,
these conversations for
Julian.
sure.
Yeah, no, we just want to say you are definitely a superstar to so many people. I'm glad everybody's getting a chance to watch you now. And I know you love writing. So consider writing your own book now, young man, because you got a hell of a story to tell.
I know. You beat me to it. It's something that I've been thinking about and saying in a jokingly manner. Like, I can't wait to write my book when I'm 60 years old. But I don't know, man. I might have to break it up a little bit, you know?
Hey,
All right.
they say every great man, every man in life should look to leave a book behind. You know what I'm saying? Leave some legacy, leave some journalism, some journals of their movements and their experiences that can affect another generation to kind of learn from it. So yeah, I think we all kind of almost have a responsibility to do it in our own way. Be looking forward to your book, but more importantly, I'll be looking forward to your next fight, man. I can't wait to hear the announcement for sure, man.
Thank you, brother.
It was great
Thank
having
you,
you up
guys.
here today, man.
Anytime you
Appreciate
guys
you. Hopefully we
want,
can have you up
man,
here more
let me
often, by
know,
the way.
bro. I really enjoy these conversations, man. So let me know, man.
Thank you, Julian. I'm going to reach out to you on Instagram. Thank you, Julian.
All right, you got it. Thank you guys for your
Peace,
time.
man. Julian Rodriguez. Man, he just shares so much. What a great interview, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, first of all, again, thank you to his manager. And you